beautiful, iconic, historic Doubleday Field in Cooperstown. Thank y'all for coming out. Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins, Hall of Famer Harold Baines, Hall of Famer Eddie Murray, Hall of Famer Dave Winfield. I'm gonna put it out there. Future Hall of Famer CeCe Sabathia, and Hall of Fame for the most teams, our founding board member Edwin Jackson. Thank y'all for coming out. It is Cooperstown, the road to Cooperstown. I gotta hear the stories. We've been talking about this off camera, but now we're on camera. What was it like 60s, 70s, 80s, and now here we are in Cooperstown. Your plaques are etched up there. Your name's there. Kids from all over the world come and see iconic players such as yourself and learn and see. Fergie, you're in front of me. I'm going to let you go ahead and kick this thing off.
Well, Curtis, I came here first with the Philadelphia Phillies. Dressed in the high school, played on the field. Didn't get a chance to pitch, but I was on the bench. Came back again with Boston, dressed in the high school, Carrie Skrimsky and Louis T. on wooden dress. But, I mean, it was fun. And then, as you know, once you retire, you put some numbers up. I was very fortunate enough to get my name put on the ballot. They took Yastrzemski and bench the first year in 88, 89. I think they took Palmer and Joe Morgan, and I went in with Gaylord Perry, Rod Carew in 91.
Hey, I like how he said, I put up some numbers. Some of those numbers, how many consecutive 20-win seasons did you have?
I had 6 in a row with the Cubs.
And then how many complete games in your career?
267.
Say it again for the people at home.
267 complete games in 18 seasons.
CeCe, how many you got?
Oh, complete games, bro. I have 250 wins. He's got 267 complete games. It's not even the same category.
We talk about, no, I mean, that's absolutely amazing to hear and see. Like you talked about numbers. The three of y'all back there, numbers. Harold, you're one of the most recent inductees into the Hall of Fame. What was it like to get that call and to go ahead and let that baseball card speak for itself?
I wasn't expecting the call, but I was grateful that I got it. I first came here in 1980. In the 80s, we used to play a game before the induction. So that was my first chance at this place, and I was very special then. Now it's really special.
Mr. Murray, up top, you were hitting from both sides of the play, but you told me something right before we got here. When did you start switch hitting?
The year before the big leagues.
Wait, time out. Y'all gonna keep pausing. I'm gonna keep pausing right here. The year before the big leagues, you say, I'm gonna try this out?
Yeah, I got a pitch in Double-A and kind of made me think about it. You know, it was a little right-handed pitcher threw something up. I didn't get mad. I finished at bat in the game. But my coach happened, we had batting practice early. And the last round, they would just say, everybody get on the opposite side and hit the last 5. Well, I hit 4 out of the 5 over the fence. Well, the next city we went to, we hit the first day we were there. I hit 4 or 5 over the fence. So now we're going home to Asheville. We got 17-hour bus rides and stuff in the minor leagues. So we're heading back to Asheville, and he's arguing up in the front of the bus. And Baltimore's arguing with him, telling him, you're going to mess up our best right-handed hitter. He said he can always go back and hit left-handed. So I go, next day, we hit early at home. Game is starting. I done dug in and getting ready. And he says, the umpire says, I think he's talking to you. I said, no, I think he's talking to you. I'm hitting 4th. He can't be pinch hitting for me already. That's exactly what I thought. And I don't really talk a whole lot then. I do a whole lot better job of it now. But I'm walking back to the dugout, and I got my head down, and I'm taking that little stride with the head, So he goes, you ever thought about hitting left-handed? I said, I can hit left-handed. He said, go ahead. So I bent down, picked up the helmet with the left-handed flap on it, went up there. First pitch I got, I hit a double. I went 10 for 31. The season ended. Then they sent me to the instructional league, and I was so glad. I have a way of figuring things out. They let me figure it out on my own. There was nobody trying to tell me to do this because you do it right-handed. No, I figured it out, and thank God for that move. And I love Schaefer to the day, Jim Schaefer. He was the one that my coach just said, go ahead and hit left-handed.
Right, it's so great because if you think about it, we've only talking to 3 of y'all so far. And a couple of things that stand out to me right away. The numbers, the skill, the talent, I just go do. He asked me to do it, I try. You got someone up here that got drafted in 4 sports, the NBA, the ABA, the NFL, and MLB, and say, you know what?
Wait, wasn't hockey in there too?
Eddie can skate. And say, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try baseball. First, I got 2 questions for you, Dave. Why baseball when you got drafted in all those sports? And then, how'd you put it all together? 3,000 hits, breaking outfield seats. I saw the highlights when them balls hitting left field and people ducking and moving because you out there swinging and hitting hard. How did all that come to be, and why'd you choose baseball?
Man, 6'8", he pulls hit the ball that hard.
That's it.
A lot of dudes can, I guess, you know. Now, when I grew up in the 50s and 60s, baseball was the #1 sport in America. Key people were like, you know, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, you know, a lot of people of color, Frank Robinson. You know, you look at Jet Magazine or something, and you see those black faces, and you say, man, those are the people that you wanted to emulate, you wanted to be like. And so my brother and I have a brother, Steve, a year older than me. So we used to we got our gloves, we'd play catch every day, we'd make up games in the community, whether from playing catch or strike out up against the back of the church or throwing a ball off the steps and you had to field it and throw it. And we were always active with baseball. So I was 12 years old. You could ask me, what do you want to do? I said, professional baseball. They said, yeah. Bam, you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. And so, you know, I always wanted to pursue that, but I did, you know, in life, you used to be able to play other sports. So whatever season it was, you know, as a youth, play a little football, high school, a little basketball, college, a little basketball and baseball. And it just seemed it came together. So I knew what I wanted to do early on. Look, today, now everybody's worried about the social media, how many people are following. Nobody followed us back then. There was no social media, none of that. It was just pursuing something that I enjoyed. And what I enjoyed about baseball is my brother was very fast. He was like center field. 12 years old, he could catch balls over his head like Willie Mays, and he could run bases and all that. And for me, it was how hard I could hit the ball. You know, I got joy out of, you know, hitting a line drive and the young kid reach out like this and the ball's already past him. I said, yeah, man, I undressed that kid. You know what I mean? And then I always had a good arm. And so I just put those things together and I ended up doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't pursuing for fame, or there was no fortune in baseball. I just did it because that's what I love doing.
You talked about having a good arm. We got 2 of the best arms in baseball right here. CeCe Edwin, 2 different styles of pitchers. You got a Hall of Famer right here in Fergie. Fergie's on your team. What are you asking Fergie to help with your game?
You know, I mean, when we first came up, both of us were 20 years old. So, you know, and at that time there were.
Is that when you graduated? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Please scratch that.
No, but
I was quiet used to be.
I mean, but not far after that, I got to the big leagues. He was one of the coaches that, like, I ended up learning. I always tell you guys, I ended up learning how to pitch from this man right here. This is how I learned how to pitch, sitting next to him every day in the dugout. But with Fergie and these different veterans, like, it was just learning how to be a pro for me when I first got up, just figuring out everything. I was literally coming from high school where, you know, I'm coming from my mom washing my uniform. I got to figure out how to, you know, manage a clubhouse, shower shoes, all these different things. So it was literally just a life lesson. I was happy to just be around the Chuck Finleys, the Dave Burbers, Ellis Burks, all these different guys that can teach me just how to be a pro, because that's really what I needed. I mean, you let me tell it, I feel like I had it on the field. You know what I'm saying? It was more like the off the field stuff that was big for me.
You played for a ton of teams. I mean, you're going to get somebody to do it. And in Chicago with the Cubs where you played at. What you got? All right, Mr. Jenkins, I need something to go ahead and give me. What are you talking to this amazing all-star, Hall of Famer, Cy Young about to add to your game?
And I wish I had done it, because Chicago was the place where I struggled the most in my career. And a lot of people thought it was just because I had signed a big contract, but I didn't believe in pressure. I believe in you go out and you get the job done or you don't. I know a lot of people thought it was the contract and all that, but it was just really learning how to pitch. And I wish I did pick your brain a little bit. And I didn't believe in bothering people. And that's what I preach to kids now. Like, don't be afraid to go ask questions, because that was always me. I don't want to bother nobody. I don't want to be a burden. But just learning how to pitch, because I was always athletic. And I would have coaches tell me, go be athletic on the mound, but they couldn't tell me how. Coming from the outfield, you can go catch a fly ball and you're like, how you catching? You're like, I don't know. But on the mound, you have to have some kind of idea of what you're doing. And I had a lot of pitching coaches that were trying to tell me to be athletic, but they couldn't really teach me how to be athletic. So that would have been my key. How do I take my athleticism and fine tune it into some kind of mechanics on the mound, because you have to be mechanically sound to be a consistent pitcher. And that was always my biggest thing, is just consistency. It was never the stuff. It was never what I had. I threw hard. I threw a country mile, and I had nasty slider, but it was just how can I continuously and be consistent on the mound, and that's what I struggle with. So that would have been my thing.
Can I say something that's attached to that? You mentioned, did you ever ask anybody? I want to hear from these guys. Who did you ask about how to improve your game, how to get better, how to be successful? Because I've talked to guys, many guys, I've played against and with many of them, and some of them would answer, why did they struggle their whole career? And they said, I was afraid to ask any questions. I said,
Mound
whoa.
awareness is the key to learning how to pitch. Cal McClish took me to winter ball, 2 years in Puerto Rico. Pick his brain. And then I had an opportunity to go to big league camps. Jim Bunning is right 2 lockers from me, talking to Jim Bunning, a veteran. But mound awareness, especially as a youngster, I mean, you're standing out there, you're all by yourself. It's just you and the catcher. You want to throw strikes. You want to be successful. But the number one thing, what you did, picking your brain, you got to keep remembering that this is what they told you what to do. Try to continue doing it and be consistent.
Now, what about on the offensive side? I mean, this is on the mound, but y'all still trying to hit, multiple hits and hitting the ball to the ballpark and go on both sides of the plate. Who are y'all talking?
Well, Dave mentioned the games he played growing up. Nothing was any tougher than Murray ball. I got 4 brothers, and my oldest brother, I would still say to, yeah, and I would always say my oldest brother was the baddest. Now, the game that we played, we had to invent, because where we lived, if we hit the house with that ball, that clock would fall down. Now that breaks up the game. So whoever hit it had to go inside and do some kind of chores. Then we would start with we even started with a sock ball and taped it up. It was being hit into the house, knocking the clock down. Somebody has to break the game up to go do chores. Well, we came up with one finally that worked. The top of the Crisco can that your mother fried grease with, that's what we took. And if you hold it like you're going to put it back on it, you could throw a curveball. But if you held it upside down, it was a fastball that went straighter. We had beaten the chores game. We were and you had to hit, that's all you had to hit was that. You didn't throw it this way. You threw it flat where it curved. That was our game. But we just had to keep just making up stuff, because mama killing us with this.
Because that's one thing, you talked about like having those veteran presence and the people you spoke to and talked to and would hear from. That's one of the things we're seeing right now in Major League Baseball. The average age is dropping drastically. The oldest team right now, their average age is 31. I'm going to ask all y'all a question. I know y'all didn't come here ready to do any homework. How old were you when you retired? How old were you when you retired? How old were you when you were? And you? So y'all were 40-year-old players playing. When you came up, did you have 40-year-old teammates?
Yeah,
late 30s.
Yeah, Jim Bunning was like, when I talked to him, he was like 36 when he got traded to the Phillies.
And
he knew how to play.
I want you to continue with that one, but I have to say, the guy who was approaching that age but contributed to my well-being was Willie McCovey. I just have to give him credit. He didn't say much to many people, but he taught me about the professionalism. When I come there, I tell people sitting on the wing of the plane while we're going to the next city, but he said, sit next to me. I'm gonna, he didn't really tell me what he was gonna do, but he'd take me places after games. He'd tell me what to do. Yeah, he did. And I give him ultimate credit for making me a
And that's who my youngest brother replaced, was Big Willie. Yeah, Willie ran off the field and my younger brother came on. And He won't listen to me. No, I used to tell my brother to stop. I saw him slide one day head first, and I lost my mind. Mama, give me Richard's number. I said, don't you ever slide in there again head first, because the second baseman and the shortstops were starting to drop their knees. It's teaching you. He broke his hand, and then he got rushed back and all of that,
And then how did it feel to be that 40-year-old player with the young crop coming underneath you? Like, Dave, you said it was about 15% playing at the time. So you had a lot of people that looked like you on the team that you could talk to. What was it like being the veteran present on that team?
Let me say this. It's funny because when I was a youngster, and I'd see DH. What's somebody want a DH for? You know what I mean? No offense, Harold. No offense. And then wait a minute.
That got me HOF.
And then
The time.
and then I got a little older and they didn't want to play me in the field every day. So I told people, would you rather see me in the field or a one-way kind of player? Who they gonna pay to see?
That's it, right? They're gonna see. But he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna take advantage of you as the HOF, as the DH, being that veteran. I mean, that's one of the toughest things to do is DH."
Well, I didn't have an option. I had injuries, so all I could do is DH. After my maybe 8th year, it was pretty much DH. So that's even more pressure on me because I had 11 one-year contracts where I had to produce every year.
11
Oh, wow. Every year was 1 year?
No more.
I had the same thing
1 year?
with the Cubs, 1-year contract.
They didn't like what they saw. They had to see.
Well, the biggest thing is that
They didn't
when
hand them
I
out.
held out,
They didn't.
when I
There
held
were no
out 1
multi-year
year,
contracts,
I got
no
a
free
2-year contract
agency.
in it was 70, and I put together some clauses, and when I ended up winning the Cy Young, got some big bonuses. Then I had 1 2-year contract with Boston. But the thing that they look at is how productive are you going to be when you get older. And when I got older, when I got traded back to Cubs, Dallas Green phoned me, asked me if I could still pitch. I said, yeah, I'm 38. When I joined the ball club in spring training, the first guy to call me Pops was Jody Davis. Hey, Pops, how you doing? I said, whoa, wait a minute. I'm Pops. And then Lee Smith started it.
Yeah.
So, but that's just part of them trying to find out what I was all about.
We talking about the contracts. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Winfield. You were the first $1 million contract.
Ryan might have been there first, but I was first with like 10 years.
Yeah. And how was that to see, one, as a black man, to get that in this game of baseball, to be the one to set the mark, to see what you have now? I mean, if it wasn't for you and you also playing that contract out to the ability, becoming a Hall of Famer, you don't have the three of us doing what
And
we
the
did.
foundation.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to my life and my career, but part of it, I mean, I was the top guy on the market at that time. And, we sat and thought about it and said, let's create the biggest, most, unique contract so that even people after me could benefit from that knowledge and the accomplishments. So you see a lot of 10-year contracts now and everything like that.
Well, the number one thing, as you said, you got fortunate enough to get that money. But if it wasn't for Marvin Miller and Kurt Flood, those two individuals changed the game. That's why all these young men are making all the money.
Exactly.
And the
Exactly.
strikes.
All
You
of
got to
them.
put the strikes in there too.
Yeah.
Strike, lockouts, all that
We
was
had
part
men
of it.
enough to go out there and to walk, not get paid. No. We need something here.
Talk on that, because we on the union, we've been a part of almost lockouts.
I don't think we've ever came close,
Yeah,
though,
but
to
not like
being-
y'all.
Yeah.
I happened to be there
three
when we
strikes.
voted Marvin Miller in. We went to San Diego, and the thing is, I go there, and nobody thinks I talk. I done got old, I talk. So we in there. I'm the first one stand up, so I stalk, and I really talking. It ain't about talking Marvin up. Marvin did what he did. So you let everyone in the room stand up and talk and do whatever. There was a Kansas City owner there, ex-owner, some old owners there, maybe 3 or 4 of them. And we had maybe 3 media people there. And I jumped back up again. And I'd be damned if I'm going to allow a 22-year-old to fight and take a job from me when I'm 39. So we got to start sharing this money right. And they looked at me, and we didn't know you could talk. I said, well, the playing field was never even. So I had to hush. No.
Well, let me say this, because you asked that question, and being up front, I work with the Players Association now, and because I want to make sure that at least I pass on the knowledge and the wisdom and the experience of what people had to go through. So I'm gonna ask a question, and anybody listening to this is how the evolution of the game has been. In 60s, what was the minimum salary?
$6,000.
$6,000. Harold, what was it?
32,000.
I was 15,000.
77, it was 19.
I think it was 200 when I first
I
got
had 325 my first year.
And the thing is,
I think it may have been 275.
and it's not just a minimum salary, but it's your just working environment and your conditions. Most people don't understand. You know that historically there was no such thing as multi-year contracts. Like you said, 11-1, no multi-year contract. There was no free agency. Can you imagine the time? Pension was horrible. Benefits were really ridiculous.
Didn't you have to put 20 years in?
To get a
No,
pension?
five to get a pension.
5 to get the pension.
To get it, yeah, but
to
that
be
was
fully vested
pennies
was-
on it.
Yeah, we talking about how low it was.
So I think of pension. I think if you looked at it, if I look back, you probably had to play 20 years, and at age 65, you get $2,000 a month. And I said, what are we going to be homeless for? This is before it was an epidemic now. I said, what do we? So, I mean, a lot of things come into it, and it's basically how do we as an organized group ask for something that's fair and to participate in the business of the game. The game is robust, it's going places, there's money to share. It's never easy. It's just by nature of management and players or employees and owners and all that kind of stuff, there's always going to be a rub. Everybody want to keep their money, just go and do your work, don't say anything, but that's not the way it is. So there's always some conflict. I mean, there are 6 times I faced a work stoppage or a lockout from making minimum salary to the top guy in the game. When I was the top guy in the game and we were out a third of a season, they said, what you gonna do? I said, I think I'll make ends meet. But it's for the people.
But we can thank Marvin Miller too.
Oh,
He was a smart businessman. In all the meetings he took with the owners, he told them, you're making more money than half the players can't get. Players are trying to get that money, but the owners are making all the money.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the percentage is now, but now players are making good money.
And on that note, I want to thank y'all.
All TV
I was
revenue.
about to say, we owe them.
Right, we owe y'all
Yeah.
for that. And even to take it a step further, you talked about being homeless and the food side of it. The one thing that always has to happen, we got to eat, right? So, see, you still involved with the Yankees right now. Let the people at home know what the food is like in the Yankee clubhouse
Oh, man.
today in 2024.
It is. I mean, everything's made to order. You know what I mean? Like every chefs. It's 3 chefs in there, and I mean, it's different than what y'all remember. Man.
When you pitched your last game, you asked your question in a second. When you pitched your last game, and I came in the locker room, you saw me in there. CC, the dude, they shaving him, and dude, he's in the barber chair and stuff. Yeah, I'm ready today. He's slinging it.
That was every day. Every day I had to get fresh. Yeah.
But the reason I asked
Yeah,
that is
it's
2024. And Dave,
Yeah.
you told me a story about pizza in the clubhouse.
Man.
Let the people know, and I want all y'all to talk about y'all food experience when y'all were playing.
It's true stuff too, man. How about when we would go through? You play the Mets. Hey, I know Steve Cohen and stuff. He don't want to hear all that stuff now, but we'd finish a game, and they'd put pizza. And if the game went long, everything it's not hot. So the dude, the clubhouse dude, had put it in the dryer. The box in the dryer. Where they wash the clothes.
Yeah.
Keep it heated. Keep it warm until you
The box tasted better than the pizza.
Oh man.
I heard Cleveland was a bad
I
spot
was
too.
gonna say, don't bring
Sorry,
up
buddy,
Bill.
that's- Look at that.
Pittsburgh, Atlanta.
What was the best meal you can remember back then, Harold?
Best meal? It's probably going to Yankee Stadium. Probably.
Going to Yankee Stadium.
The worst would be Cleveland,
Cleveland.
Detroit.
With the Stevie Wonder spread out
They
there.
didn't know anything about vegetables.
You go out there, and every night, bologna was over here. You had
Cold
this.
cuts here and there.
You
yeah.
could reach at everything every night because it was in the same spot.
Same spot. Bologna sandwich.
And it was candy. It was like Snickers and all. It was all kind of candy and stuff when I first got
Lots
to
of
it.
candy.
Yeah.
Lots of
Bill
candy.
Sheridan was a clubhouse man
Yeah, in Cleveland.
in Cleveland, and his wife might cook lasagna on the Friday, fried chicken on the Saturday, And on Sunday, we had them both together, what was left over.
If y'all didn't eat it all.
And 2 refrigerators. What you wanted was in the fridge. You went and got it yourself.
So you talk about, I mean, we're seeing old and new, and we're getting a chance to stand here. Obviously, y'all are inducted into the Hall. We're here getting a chance to play this East-West All-Star game. That second road to the All-Star is kind of where we're at now. We're going to get a chance to play and say thank you to y'all. Y'all going to be managing and coaching and trying to help us get through without getting hurt. But you two are both pitching. So how y'all feeling? Edwin, how's the arm feeling?
I'm trying to be Fergie out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tap into my inner Fergie. But I mean, to put on that uniform though, it is special. To be able to celebrate this with our families. Like I never been to Cooperstown. My kids never been to Cooperstown. They've been on my case. My daughter been telling me, you need to practice. You got a big game coming up. So for them to kind of be at this age and really have a chance to kind of know what's going on and be able to get to play this game and give a nod to y'all is just special to be able to put that uniform on. It really does mean something in the midst of all the fun that we having. It is a sentimental value to be able to put that uniform on and pay homage to all y'all forerunners that did this before us.
Now, Eddie, C came in and said he gonna hit.
Oh, yeah.
You were the hitting coach in Cleveland when he was there.
No,
That's all we talking about.
that's Big Thunder. He know how to use it. He does know how to use it.
So he can hit and pitch today.
Not when I was retired and stuff, I'm sitting in the crowd. And I come over on this side. Sometimes Miss Beltran will have me sit in her seat. They had him right behind the on deck circle. And I look in there and I look at him and say, you know, and he, wow. And I said, get your dang arm up. Yeah, because I used to tell him, I said, you make hitting easy if you're going to show the ball. And that's what he would open this body of his and not, hide it.
No, it was crazy because we got to a point where he's talking about when I'm a Yankee. This is 2010, 11. He'd be sitting over here and I'd be looking at him and he'd be giving me cues. But we got to a point when he was the pitching coach in Cleveland where I would look at him, he'd be like, do something, or I'll be looking at him what pitch to throw. Like they gave him the mechanics, like Carl Willis and those guys taught me the mechanics, but he taught me how to pitch. And I would look to him to be like, because I didn't know sequences or anything. I played football, I played basketball, I was raw as a pitcher. I didn't understand how to get guys out. And he really literally taught me, you throw the ball in here, then you can go, you know what I'm saying? Like all these little things about literally getting guys out, I learned from Eddie Murray.
That's the dope thing about a game. As a pitcher, you can learn from a position player what to do because they know what they looking for. I see a lot of times where dudes get mad because a pitcher trying to tell them something when really it's vice versa. It's like y'all study us, not you, Fergie, you pitcher. Y'all study us like we study y'all. So if I tell a hitter something, I should know because I'm watching that as a pitcher. If a position player came and told me something, I'm taking it hard. I'm like, that's your job is to study a pitcher. So why should I argue with you and tell you to get back in the field and not tell me about pitching when your job is to break me down and see what I do wrong?
And you're right. I talk to pitchers about that too. The ones that retired, when they didn't have
we
any,
couldn't give it up.
Once they retired and everything. And I'd read the scouting reports and they say Winfield, come in and then, slide her away off the plate or whatever. And that's why I still had the same average all the time and all same RBIs because I would study what they were doing to me. You have to do that. You can't just, it's not, everybody thinks it's just, they're a freak athlete or something like that. No, it's a science
a lot of times
to this game.
Guessing? I ain't guessing. Hey, you get me out. Hey, you learn who on the mound. You get out on the changeup. Learn who got you out on the changeup because he's going to throw it again. And then first pitch one time. Woo, woo, what do you?
Yeah. But 25 guys have a voice on the ball club. And don't feel that you can't contribute. That's the number one thing. You can contribute. Even the guy that's the pinch hitter or the guy is the last guy to be the pinch runner. But you can contribute. Hey, I watched his move. He does this, he does that. Or he's giving away pitches with his hand. So everybody's watching.
But I ask you guys a question because in our day, there was more, it seems to me, and I could be wrong, more teamwork. A lot of guys are working on their own now. They only exercise on their own. They talk to they look at their own videotape, but they don't socialize with one another as much as we did.
I feel like it's more turnover though, because I feel like more guys are less to give up what they're doing because they may be on a different team the next year. You know what I mean? So I'll get less feedback from a position player on my team because he may think that he's gonna be gone. Especially when I was with the Yankees because we had so much turnover. So it would have to be a veteran player that they knew was going to be there that you could get feedback from. Because other than that, most of the time now in our day and age, the guy's just trying to, like you said, till you retire, then I'm gonna tell you what you was doing wrong or how you could have got me out. So I think now it's
But see,
less.
I wasn't
it's
going to
less
affect
talking.
my money.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to have to help them make me some more money if we get to the playoffs. So you got to give something up.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
honestly the truth.
No, but to Fergie's point though too, and I would listen to everybody, and I would try everything. Like it's like I guess it's called being coachable, but I just wanted to learn. Like if somebody had something or thought that they could teach me something, yeah, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna try it. If it don't work, then I'll throw it out. But I mean, if it does work, then I'm a better player for it.
But that's a great point. But what do you guys feel about the whole teamwork aspect? Because contracts are now predicated on, they say, look, I just want you to swing up, swing for the fence. I don't care if you strike out 200 times. That's not, to me, not trying to win. No. It used to be get on, get him over, get him in.
The lineup had a flow to it of a way. Now everybody 1 through 9 is trying to do what you just said, lift and separate, no matter what the situation is.
Right. There's no sacrifice, right? There's an actual stat called the sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly. You're supposed to give up yourself. And even on the flip side, on the defense, we're watching games now. Players aren't in the right position for cutoffs. People don't know where to throw the ball to the right base. But it all comes to your point. The teamwork, the team practice, the team drill, and there's been less and less of that. So you have a player that's out there that's athletically gifted, can run, is strong, can do all those things, but has no idea where to go. Like you said, the flow of the game, they're not sure where to go. So kind of on that line, the active player that's in the game right now, what information do y'all have for them so they can be in these seats?
Well, a lot of that comes from your minor league system too. They're not ready to come up when they're coming up. The fundamental part of it.
Rush them a little bit.
Yeah, they're getting rushed, and they're not.
But the thing that irks me, and you see it all the time, guy takes his hat off and looks in his hat to see where he's got to play somebody when the count's 2-2. He puts his hat back on. Give me a break.
But you know what, too? A lot of these kids, they don't play a lot of baseball. You know how these guys just describe playing baseball in the street, knowing situations, playing strikeout. They do showcases. So they throwing the ball as hard as they can from shortstop to first. They're throwing the ball from the outfield as hard as they can. They run in the bases, they get 10 swings. So they don't know game situations. So they don't know how to line up for a cutoff. They haven't played a lot of games. They just showcase kids, and they draft these kids based on those numbers.
Yeah. I think another thing, too, when I came up on the good teams, we was friends. We stayed around the clubhouse. I know my wife used to tell me, she's like, the older you get, the longer you stay in the clubhouse. I'm like, what's the rush?
You sure you in the clubhouse?
What's the rush? Yeah, you still at the field? But we sat around, we talked about the game, good or bad. We was there. It wasn't no rush to get out the clubhouse as I got older. Also, I would see teams 10 minutes after the game, the clubhouse clean. I'm like, what's the rush? Yeah, really. It's 11 o'clock. Where you going? Y'all ain't even break down the game. So we
beer was around in the locker room. I didn't drink. I didn't start drinking until I really retired.
Why you act like that?
You just act like that?
And I had my old pal, Lee May. I replaced Lee at first, but Lee was my turn to DH then. But the thing is, Lee met me in my locker, and I had no clue. Lee met me in my locker, and he says, we drink in a minute. And I said, Lee, I don't drink. So he put a little too much bass in his voice. And I turned to the locker and started taking off my shirt. So I turn around now, and there's 9 to 10 guys standing there with champagne glasses. I struck out 100 times. So it was 104 for the year. And I says, before we do this, I said, this is the last time you will ever do this on me. I think I got it to 49 one year. Gotta do your thing, man. I ain't gonna have them drinking on me, But
you ain't toasted to me.
It's how you learn. We used to sit there and they go get a Coke and sit here and listen to us. We talk about the game. That's how we learned it.
Spring training is so important too. That 6 weeks, that if you're going to make a ball club and you want a new player on your team, you got to bring him into the fold, especially a rookie that you can see he's got that potential. You can see that, and he could be the guy that can really help you when the season starts. Those first 30, 40 games, man. I'm looking, especially pitchers. Especially pitchers. Yeah.
Some clothes when they were raggedy.
Yeah. Yeah. Lee Smith and I used to go. I took Lee out a few times. But you know who took me out? Dick Allen. Dick Allen, when I first joined the ball club with the Phillies. We hung out. But I mean, it's just something. And he was an outfielder, But he knew a lot about pitching. No, we didn't have hazing.
Well, I didn't smile, so they didn't mess with me.
The only guy, the guy, and I tell people all the time, it wasn't a hazing thing, but Wes Covington used to cut my stirrups all the time, just to get on, see if I had the pinky or not, But I used to tell the trainer, hey, somebody cut my socks again. He pulled my socks. He said, tape them.
It was hard to get Harold to talk as a coach. I go talk to him the days ain't pitching. Hey, what's up, Harold? How you doing? They be like, do he talk? I'm like, he talk. You just gotta go talk to him. You gotta go sit down and talk to him. He not gonna just voluntarily talk to you unless he gotta tell you. So especially pitching, but I'm like, he talk. You just gotta go talk to him. You go to the far end of the corner of the dugout and he sit, but he's watching everything. He watching the dugout. He seeing who playing around. He seeing who in the game, who not. But
It's amazing how much you can learn by watching.
Yeah. Did Yogi say that?
I don't know about Yogi.
My way to watch a game, and I used to try to get the young kids to listen to it. They don't. I would tell them, a pitcher goes to the bullpen. Go down there on that mound. He's got 4 pitches. He's on that mound. He might not have had time to work on one of them because he struggled with another pitch. Well, he now comes in, so he's eliminated a pitch. So he's eliminated 1, so he's got 3. He comes to the mound. Well, just because it's a mound don't mean he's going to throw strikes. He's not comfortable on this one. Now he got 2 pitches because he didn't have time on that 8 to warm up. So now you got 2 pitches to worry about. Now I'm going to try to eat gravy on my chicken and pork chops. I mean, because he's only got 2 pitches, why look for the other 2? Not right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I said, you're not here to eat popcorn and do all that. Mm-hmm.
So to kind of wrap and put on this, the one thing I've picked up from all this, if you're watching this and you're trying to understand, okay, how do I become like these 4 immortalized in the Hall of Fame? And correct me if I'm wrong. Watch the game. Listen to the game. Ask questions. Am I missing anything?
I mean, don't play the game.
It's hard work.
Don't play the
It's all
game
about
and
work.
think you're trying to get to the Hall of Fame. Just play the game the right way.
That's it. But the work part of it, you can see it's on the field. You can't do it in the dugout. You got to do it on the field. And the work part of it is the reward you get when you see your ball club win and everybody's shaking hands. That's it.
Can I just give you one perspective? I was hoping we'd do this before we got to the wrap. I wanted to ask these guys, or let them tell the listeners or the people watching this, when did they know, once they were in the big leagues, when did they know you belonged? Because you get there, and again, most of us are boys playing against men. Right. Pitchers are hitting their spots, and you're mad at the umpire, and they know how to pick you apart. You got to learn. Was there any one incident that I'll tell you mine. Bob Gibson was still pitching. The person who had the lowest ERA in the history of baseball over an entire season, 1.12 or something. His picture was pinned on my wall in college. When I pitched, I'm Bob Gibson. When I hit, I'm a Willie McCovey because I'm driving in runs. And be afraid, when I walk up there with the attitude. But the thing was, Bob Gibson, and I'm gonna make it very short story. I saw him in a store away from the game in St. Louis, tried to introduce myself, and
that's what he meant,
tried. And he grunted and looked at me and didn't say, blew me off. It's like, I'm gonna get this dude. Because I didn't know that he didn't talk to anybody on the other team. And plus, if you got too frisky up there, you might get one in your neck or something like that. So anyway, I remember, very short story, I got to face him a month or so later, and he struck me out the first time, and I was cool on the field, but in the tunnel, I wasn't cool. I was steaming. Next time up, I got a home run off of him, went around the bases, looking at him all the way around the base, walked across home plate and pointed to him and said, I'm here too. Like, give me some respect. And everybody said, Cito Gaston and Nate Colbert. I said, you crazy, that Bob Gibson? I said, well, Bob Gibson. next. But I swear to God, next time I came up, the first 2 were right at my head. I was always too quick, man.
A lot of respect.
What was yours? You knew that you belonged.
Well, I came up in...
I never really knew. But as a left-handed hitter, you always want to play every day. When I first came up, I was platoon first, first year and the second year. Second year was a strike. 81 was a strike, so I didn't play every day. They platooned me with a right-hand hitter. And then 83, I played every game, and that's when I knew that I had a chance to do something.
Well, I came up in '65. The first player I relieved was Jim Bunning, who I talked to quite a bit in big league camps. And who I beat? Bob Gibson in relief. In the 10th inning, Cookie Rojas got the hit, and Dick Allen drove in the run. But yeah, I pitched 6 innings of relief. But until I started to win on a consistent basis, my first year of winning 20 games, I said, I can play this game to myself. I can play now, because I didn't let the surroundings bother me. When I was on the hill, I felt comfortable. And that's what hitters do. When you feel a comfort zone, it makes the game a lot easier for you.
Me, I always felt comfortable. Just in how I grew up. Like I said, I grew up with being the bad boy for Bobby Dawn pitched, Doc Ellis pitched on the team with my brother, the oldest one. So I got to grow up and watch this. And it was amazing because the people said, them little boys are going to be something. And what they were starting at is, let's say I'm making $5. I'm the bad boy, so I'm picking up the bats all the time. The other 2 brothers are out there running the balls now for a dime. So what we would do is, whoever bad boy, we would hold up our left hand, and that meant it was a left-hander coming up, and he was going to foul the ball off that way. So my brothers, there's 10 kids out there, 15 kids, but my brothers are going to bring that ball in because I let them know who was hitting. And right-hander come up, you just do this, and they said, I guarantee one of them little Murrays are going to come back here with that ball. Foul ball. Here comes my brother with the ball. Because they would keep talking to the kids and just switch sides with them. And we were working it back then.
Y'all was scouting even before you got up. You knew.
Him and Ozzie Smith grew up together as kids.
Yeah, we played against us. I was 9, he was 10. We had a lot of fun playing.
I'll say this. I mean, you talked about like being comfortable on the mound, having these conversations. And Edward, you started this. Like, you didn't want to go and talk. I feel like sitting here talking and hearing from y'all has made me probably one of the most comfortable situations I've been in. I mean, hearing from the greats, you're going to hear some stuff that you may not like to hear at that moment because we're still learning, but to hear from y'all, the way you're breaking it down, the way you're bringing it to, I hope everyone at home is listening and hearing it. Go talk to them, listen to them. I mean, this is the knowledge. What better person to hear from than future Hall of Famers, then world record holders, then Hall of Famers, then your teammates that have been there doing it. So first of all, I want to thank y'all for coming here and being a part of this and providing this. Now, I wish I can go back out there. I know we're about to play a game here soon, but I'm scared.
I'm scared to death, bro. I'm scared to death to go out there and play this game.
I'll give you enough.
Now, here's one for the books. This one here thought he could pitch. And I know, like everybody else, you had to pitch if you were the best player on the team. Well, they wouldn't let me pitch, and I'm struggling. I'm mad that they won't let me pitch in the minor leagues. And I got a finger here that's short. Everybody's pointer comes between the lines. Hey, is it hard to catch?
You brought it up last night.
Hey, is it hard to catch? I can't throw a ball straight.
He can't throw a ball straight.
I throw rolls off of this one.
It is.
And it's a slider, or it didn't do that. Man, you be on the field catching with me, you hear somebody yell, because it started and break. No, man.
But thank y'all for coming here. I mean, this is just, I think, to have this conversation in this moment in Cooperstown, where y'all are there forever. Like Edwin said, his kids were on him for wanting to come see it. Now they get a chance to see it, see y'all in person, see y'all etched in stone, see us go out on this field and play. I want to thank y'all for being with us, for off the record, on the field, this conversation on the road to Cooperstown.